Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views, the best podcast in the prairies with the best newsletter in the prairies. You can follow me on Substack and Spotify. It is built by the people, for the people, regular people just like you and I. Please subscribe and please donate and keep this thing going. This from BNN Bloomberg. Rail giants plan to shut down Canada network after union talks fail. Productivity in Canada is an absolute free fall. Unemployment is up. Jobs are non-existent from the 18 to 25-year-olds, especially if you are a newcomer to Canada. This will absolutely cripple the Canadian economy. Listen to this. Quote, the economic harm will extend well beyond the $1 billion of goods that are transported by rail each day. $1 billion worth of goods each day. Goldie Hyder, Chief Executive Officer of the Business Council of Canada, said in an email. I'm going to go over this article about that from Reuters. But first, I found this in SAS Today. This is a letter. MP voices concern with capital gains tax change. Robert Kitchen says this tax increase will negatively impact more than just the ultra rich. I love what this guy says. The editor. At the end of the last parliamentary session, the incompetent finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, scrambled to bring in her latest tax hike on capital gains to pay for her uncontrolled inflationary spending. This legislation could be defeated this coming fall. So I encourage all of my constituents to write, call, and email the finance minister and tell her that this tax is something that Canadians just simply cannot afford. She doesn't care. The Liberals claim that this is a tax on the ultra-rich. It is not. It is a tax on death, food, home building, retirement, doctors, pharmacists, truckers, and small business owners. Only Prime Minister Justin Trudeau would tax farmers during a food affordability crisis, doctors during a physician shortage, and home building during a housing crisis. Canadians will be worse off because of Justin Trudeau's new tax. The Liberals forced a last-minute motion in Parliament to try and implement this new tax, but they will be forced to table legislation to enact the tax in the fall. There is still time to stop this stupid thing. Please contact the finance minister in whatever way possible and let her have it. Tell her you can't afford this tax. Robert Kitchen, Surrey Moose Mountain MP. I hope I'm saying that right. Couldn't have said it any better myself. What kind of leader taxes everything when we are in absolute crisis mode? Unreal. This from Norman Spencer. I just want to bring this to your attention. How stacked the Senate is and how Justin Trudeau is going to continue to stack the Senate in his favor. So when Pierre Poilievre gets elected as prime minister, he's going to have a really hard time passing anything. So listen to this. There is a way out of this. So from Norman Spector. With his two latest stinker appointments, Justin Trudeau has now named 84 of the 105 senators, and not too many of them are aligned with how Pierre Poilievre sees things, which means big trouble if the CPC forms government. And I think it would be smart for them in their election platform to propose holding a plebiscite to sound Canadians out on abolishing the Senate. So Pierre Poilievre should start having press conferences and just throw it out there that he will abolish Senate and have this plebiscite. And let Canadians know, bring attention to it, that Justin Trudeau in 2015, one of his election promises was to have a nonpartisan Senate. And we all know now that Justin Trudeau does the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do in 2015. Now, continuing on with our routers and our rail strike. So, why Canada is on the verge of an unprecedented rail labor stoppage. This will tell you exactly why and what is going on. Ottawa, August 18th. For the first time, Canada's two main railway companies, Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Kansas City, are on the verge of a simultaneous labor stoppage that could inflict billions of dollars worth of economic damage. Yeah, $1 billion a day. Unreal. So why are both companies poised to stop? Contract talks between the Teamsters union and the companies usually take place a year apart, but in 2022, after the federal government introduced new rules on fatigue, CN requested a year-long extension to its existing deal rather than negotiate a new one right now. So this meant both companies' labor agreements expired at the end of 2023, and talks have been ongoing since. As a result, for the first time, the failure of negotiations would halt the vast majority of Canadian freight rail system. The Teamsters represent around 10,000 members who work as locomotive engineers, conductors, train and yard workers, and rail traffic controllers at the two companies in Canada. Everything is ran by complete incompetence in this country. Nothing gets done anymore. Nothing gets built anymore. It is just scandal, scandal, scandal. Corruption, corruption, corruption. So what is likely to happen next? The companies say they will start locking out workers in the early hours of Thursday. So if you want to get stuff, you better do it now. If they cannot reach a deal. While the union says it is ready to call a strike for that day, CPKC has already given formal notice of a lockout. CPKC, created in 2023 through a merger of Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern, has a U.S. and Mexican network, which it says will operate normally. CN also says trains on its U.S. network will run as well. That said, a strike will still lead to shipment disruptions south of the border. Both rail operators and some of their U.S. competitors have begun to refuse certain cross-border cargoes that would rely on the CN and CPKC networks. CPKC has said it would halt new rail shipments originating in Canada and new U.S. shipments destined for Canada starting August 20th if talks with the Teamsters Union in Canada fail to progress. You can bet that the Biden administration is on the phone right now saying, fix this. They cannot have any hiccups right before the election down south. The railways move grain, autos, coal, and potash, among other shipments. This is going to be crazy if they go on strike. So what are the sides arguing about? The union says CPKC wants to gut the collective agreement of all safety critical fatigue provisions. So they want to gut what Justin Trudeau forced on them, meaning crews will be forced to stay awake longer, boosting the risk of accidents. CPKC says its offer maintains the status quo for all work rules, fully complies with new regulatory requirements for rest, and does not in any way compromise safety. So what can the federal government do? Under Article 107 of the Federal Labor Code, Labor Minister Stephen McKinnon has broad powers and can order the sides to enter binding arbitration. In 2023, his predecessor, Shameless O'Regan, issued such an order to end a dock workers' strike in British Columbia. In that case, unlike the current rail dispute, the sides had largely agreed on the outlines of a deal. McKinnon rejected a request last week by CN for binding arbitration, urging the sides instead to put in more effort at the negotiating table. I'm going to keep you updated with this as much as I can when I can. Like I said, Canada cannot afford this. The unemployment's already going up. It is already hard to find work, and it is brutally hard to just pay bills and make a living in this country and have goods and services $1 billion a day to just evaporate. This will be the beginning of a depression. It won't be a recession. This will go straight to depression if all this money just evaporates. Follow me on Substack and Spotify. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.